Hey everyone, coming at you selfie style to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. My room's a mess, don't worry about it. This week, for content, we'll be doing something a little bit different. This is the very first episode-ish of How Long Is This Podcast? Where we invite you... I'm about to introduce it. So, stay tuned for that, and if you'd like to see more, as of the time of filming this, 4 episodes are currently up on my and Fresh Sandwich's Patreons. So, if you would like to continue hearing our podcast experience, link in the description, check out the Patreon. Happy Halloween, I love you all. Bye guys. Come up with some sort of intro, or just...
Nah, we're here now.
Here we are. Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to the very first sort of episode of How Long Is This Podcast?
Yeah.
Here we are. As is true of every episode, we invite you to not look at the timer so that you can be just as surprised as us whenever this ends. That being said, I don't know when it's going to end. Sandwich, you had an idea for today?
I did. The original concept of How Long Is This Podcast, if we have that episode archived somewhere.
We do, I checked. Episode 0 is available on YouTube right now.
Nice. So the original concept was that, we had a laptop that was recording us, and it was on battery, and we just kept recording until it died.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can't exactly do that this way because we're recording instead of streaming it. It was live streamed, and we just kept podcasting until it died, and then, the live stream ended when that happens.
As is the nature of the computer that's streaming, just shutting off.
Yeah. So, what I think is we both need to come up with some sort of a trigger of some sort. And if the other person does, the thing that we're thinking of, we just leave the call.
Interesting. So it's like a sleeper agent sort of thing.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going to tell each other, and obviously it's going to be different every episode.
Interesting. I was thinking we'd just do a whole different thing every episode. Maybe we'll just do some special things, and that'll be the default.
Sure.
Cool. Okay. Well, I assume you've already got your thing for me.
Yeah.
I have not come up with a thing for you since I didn't know we were doing this, but I will over the next couple of minutes. And if you're watching this visually and you want to know what it is, here is the rule for both of us on screen now.
All right. I'm thinking yours is... I've got what mine is in my head, and I'm reasonably sure it's not gonna happen.
Like at all? Terrifying. Okay. Let's see. I know what we're actually...
It's either gonna happen 3 minutes into the podcast or not.
I hope this first one goes for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
I gotta think of something for you though, and I know what we're doing today, so I have an idea, and that idea doesn't work because we'll be done in seconds.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's see. Let's go with... You know what? Let's just start talking, and I'll come up with something whenever I come up with something.
Sure.
You don't want to make people sit around and wait. So, today's topic of conversation. The greater topic...
We're gonna be...
is power scaling, and why that's stupid. But I do have a more specific thing that I'm taking issue with that we can get to whenever we want to get there.
Alright. So, power scaling in general. Let it be known, I guess, as we get into this, I am a Dragon Ball fan, so this is something I'm well acquainted with.
I am also technically a Dragon Ball fan. I say technically because I haven't really watched much of it at all, but I've seen every episode of the abridged, and I like the concept. So, I've seen some of Super. And I think I've seen all of the Super movies, so do with that whatever you will.
Yeah, I mean, there are, I guess, 4 of them if you want to count the bad ones, but there's gonna be a Resurrection F super fan out there that just like
How
popped a
dare
blood
you?
vessel that
How
said
could
that.
you say that? Fuck you. Resurrection.
Gold.
It looks like he got peed on. It's the best movie I've ever seen. I've been waiting 30 years to see Frieza peed on.
Man.
What a terrible, terrible thing to be waiting for. Anyway.
What an awful guy that we just made up.
Yeah, I hate that guy. So power scaling. Did it get its start in Dragon Ball with the Scouters? Was that the beginning of it, or was that just like the popularization of it?
That was the large popularization. I think the making it like a numeric thing, I think Dragon Ball was one of, if not the first to do that.
You're probably right.
And it's kind of funny that the concept of power scaling has evolved out of that, because the entire point of the introduction of power levels was so bad guys underestimated Goku.
Right. In Dragon Ball, the power levels was great because it was meant to be subversive. It wasn't just my number's bigger than yours, so I win. But then a bunch of other writers saw that and went, oh, I don't have to do interesting fighting. I can just assign numbers to people, and your bigger number will win.
Yep.
That's why I hate power scaling.
And the funniest, like, the funniest implementation of that, I think, was in Seven Deadly Sins.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
They took it and they just did exactly that. They were like, oh, so it's just like the bigger number wins. All right, I can do that.
And the worst part of that, I know that Seven Deadly Sins sucks, but the first season was really good. I loved
we were
the
both,
first
like,
season.
mega fans when it came out.
Yeah, I watched it like a month tops after it originally released on Netflix, and it was awesome. And then season 2 came out, and it was all right. It was hit or miss. And then the rest of it came out, and it sucked ass.
It kept going downhill.
And this is not the only reason, but part of the reason is they gave the fucking pig a power scale eye.
Yeah, they literally just gave the pig a scouter and just like with no regard as to, you know, the purpose of the scouter at all, you know?
Yeah, it was just, look, there's numbers. Now the pig can be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
They said that in universe.
Yeah.
They're like, here you go, pig.
Like,
now you can be. I always get so sad that pig's name is Hawk. Because I am at least tangentially related. And I get sad because they're the worst character.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason that the first season of that show was cool was because each character had their own, like, special ability. And it wasn't a hard and fast rule of mine is better than yours, so I win.
Yeah, the fights were, like, creative. Bonds, like, a Bond fight was fundamentally different from a Meliodas fight.
Correct.
You know? And there's, in Dragon Ball, in terms of choreography, maybe, like, the fights aren't particularly different. They don't have, like, this is Goku's signature choreography versus, you know, Vegeta's signature choreography. A lot of the time in Z, it was just, like, whatever martial arts Toriyama felt like borrowing from that week.
That's fair.
But the tone of the fights was very individual to characters. Vegeta fights were very different from Goku fights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the Android 19 fight was, like, insane compared to, like, the Nappa fight, you know? It's completely different.
Totally.
Completely different.
Because the Nappa fight was like a drag-out match all against one guy. And then the 19 fight was just a...
Yeah, Vegeta styling on him.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh, the I might as well get a workout in line from the Abridged is great. That whole scene in the Abridged is great. It might be the first time in the Abridged version of the show where they let Vegeta be on top. They let him run wild for a little bit, and it's
the only time before that, in the original series as well, that, like, Vegeta is allowed to be, like, number one is occasionally during the Namek saga, like his fight against is it Kui,
Kui.
or is it a Poo?
Kui's the purple one.
It's Kui. Yeah.
It might
It's
be both
Kui.
of them,
He
actually.
just like ices Kui. I think he does kill them both. But he just like ices Kui just like because, you know? And it's a great moment, you know?
Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic in the Namek saga, because it's like Vegeta is sort of second place. He does get his shit rocked by Zarbon because, hey, look, transformation. Hint, hint, this will get here soon, and this is gonna stick around. But then he comes right back and turns him into pulp after a little bit of that sweet, sweet Zenkai boost.
Yep,
anyway,
good old Zenkai boost.
But it's a fun power dynamic on there, because it's basically how hard can Vegeta let loose and start knocking out soldiers without getting Frieza's attention.
Right. The Namek saga is like very well done. It's very interesting dynamic throughout the whole saga for that. Now bring this back to Seven Deadly Sins. A lot of it is, you know, it's very messy. Seven Deadly Sins. But like during the like first season where they're just sort of going around and constantly introducing like new things and new characters, a lot of that is a lot of fun because like every character is very they have their own distinct like power set. Like the Holy Knights, even though like later in the series they're just like chumps.
Yeah. They immediately get out power scaled as soon as power scaling exists.
Yeah, they just become like absolute
like,
chumps.
We're the guards that rebuild everything once the men stop fighting.
Right.
The men being the Seven Deadly Sins, women included.
Right. As soon as like power scaling gets introduced, they get dropped off a cliff, and then there's also like the whole thing with like them getting a demon blood power up and stuff like that. But you know, whatever.
That was in the first season, though. That was cool.
Yeah, that was nearing the end of the first season. The like demon blood power up and whatever his name was turned into like a gray demon. There was like interesting, Hendrickson. Yeah, there was some like interesting stuff going on there.
And Jericho
and all
was
of
there.
The fights were really. Ah, yes, Jericho, best girl.
That's a take. I was shitting on Jericho when I said that. Because a lot of the demon blood had some cool motivation, because a lot of them knew that they were like, this is gonna fuck me up. And
yeah, I think she was just getting revenge on Bond.
That's exactly my
Wasn't
point.
that it?
There's the other girl with the explosion power, whose name escapes me. It might be like Julia or something like that. She's got the pink armor and the long black hair. Anyway.
I know who you're talking about. I do not recall.
Yeah, I don't remember her name, but her motivation for doing that is like, I will protect my little brother at all costs, even if this like fucks me up a bit. And Jericho's reason was, Bond made me sad and kind of horny.
Yep.
All right, cool. Anyway,
so that's your whole motivation, huh?
Do you know what happens to that girl, by the way? In like season 2, not Jericho, but the other one.
Oh, the whole thing with Gother, right?
Yeah, Gother fucking overwrites her memory so that she does not remember her little brother, who was most of her character, so that she'll spend more time with him.
Yeah, Gother's like insane.
Gother is fucked.
Gother's a monster, dude. It's insane, and like. And they sort of play it off in the series, which I don't like.
They play a lot of the weird, bad takes off for laughs.
Yeah.
Like,
now, one of the things I sort of liked with the original first season was that a lot of the time, whenever they're talking about the Seven Deadly Sins, those characters in particular, they weren't saying like, oh, they're like heroes, but they're just misunderstood, right? There was like an undercurrent of like, they're not all good people.
Yeah,
you know?
It was, well, for the first season, it was they're traitors. They killed whatever that other guy's name was, the mentor to Hendrickson, who isn't actually dead, but don't worry about it. And they're traitors to the kingdom, so they're hardened criminals, even though they used to be good
hates
guys.
and stuff. Yeah, and I thought that was like it's interesting not having like the main characters be paragon heroes, but then later on they say like, well, but all their crimes were like either greatly exaggerated or completely fabricated.
Mm-hmm.
For pretty much all of them.
Yeah. I mean,
although we do get a handy bit of character assassination for Meliodas.
I mean,
which is
he did explode a town or whatever that was.
Yeah, and he's also a pedophile.
Sorta. That's a sort of fair way to put that. Yes.
Groomer, bare minimum.
Yeah. I don't. You know what? I don't want to analyze this.
Yeah. I don't know why they
it
did
is
that.
well
It is
beyond
weird.
my level of
wheelhouse.
Sure, wheelhouse to analyze the. It's too close to Freud. We never bring up Freud here. Hate that guy.
We never bring up Freud. Hate that.
Although he did have a good epic rap battle of history.
True. I was listening to some of those today. Pretty good.
There are mostly all bangers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the main issue I want to get into. I saw this thing on TikTok.
Power scaling.
Yeah, with power scaling specifically. I saw this thing on TikTok, and it made me so, like, potently angry. And it's just like music set to a scroll of quote-unquote facts. And it's the synopsis is how quickly could cartoon characters kill 8 billion humans? So the goal is kill everyone on the planet, basically. Would you like to guess who the first person on the list is?
SpongeBob.
No, although I do think he makes an appearance. It's nice. Peter Griffin. What? Do you want to guess what his amount of time is?
Like days, right?
It's never.
Weeks? Never. Wait, why? What? Why would you put never?
I guess they wanted a baseline.
Peter Griffin can't do it. He just can't.
That's the thought process, is Peter Griffin cannot do it.
Interesting.
There is a little, like, text blurb for each one, and his is, he can't even kill a giant chicken, what's he gonna do?
I don't know, he causes a lot of property damage with that chicken,
He
though.
does. I mean, it really depends. It depends how you want to run things. If we're counting, like, not power scaling, Toon Force. The reason that every, like, Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, all of those characters are counted as, like, super Omega level mutants, triple S tier, because they're indestructible and can fuck with their continuity. Or if you just want to count them as, realistically, a rabbit that's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, the first person with an actual answer is Morty. How long do you think his amount is?
Years.
How many?
Oh,
you're right.
100.
Wow.
100.
Yes, exactly right.
Oh shit!
Good shit.
I'm the world's largest Rick and Morty fan, so it makes sense.
That'd do it. His little blurb is, "Let's see what being with Rick for all this time has done for him." That seems incorrect, though.
Yeah, because he's never the.
Well, no, I mean in the opposite direction. I feel like it'd take him a week tops.
I mean, if he has, like, Rick gadgets, then yes.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. If we put him in a vacuum where Rick didn't exist, or rather, him and his tech is no longer available, then yeah, it'd probably take considerably...
Then he's Peter Griffin, too.
Yeah. But there was that episode in Season 3, I think. It might have been 3-1, with the Death Crystals. I think it was 3-1. And he goes, like, full Akira and rips apart, like, half of the military.
That's true, yeah.
I think he could make it happen. I think it would not take him that long to make it happen. If he's really trying. Or he could just go find that wormhole that he let Fart through and return... Well, no, I guess he did kill Fart.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm obviously behind on my Rick and Morty lore.
There you go. Fart was a character from season 2. He was the sentient gas cloud that could, like, rearrange atoms.
Mm-hmm.
You clearly do not remember this episode. Basically, Rick sells a hitman a gun so that they can hang out at the arcade for a day. And then Morty gets all up in arms about it, frees the fart, kills like 100 people in trying to get him quote-unquote home, and the gut punch twist is, thank you for getting me home. Now I can go back to my people and we can come back and extinguish all carbon-based life. And so he has to kill the thing anyway. That's the punch of the episode.
I see.
My point is, he knows where that wormhole is. He could just go and get the rest of the fart creatures, and they'd win.
Yeah. Be very quick to extinguish all life with their help.
Mm-hmm.
So who's next?
60 years. The Grinch.
Is this Jim Carrey Grinch?
No, this is Benedict Cumberbatch recently animated Grinch.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The text is, this would really ruin everyone's Christmas.
I mean, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone being dead?
If you viewed it from
valid.
If you viewed it from that viewpoint, then yeah, probably. But this is a weird list, or power scaling, like, I don't know, the Grinch and Peter Griffin. I feel like we're definitely gonna get into anime at some point.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh,
but,
we'll get there. Don't you worry.
Yeah, this is weird. This is a weird list.
It's a weird list. The next one is the first one that I am very, like... I'm gonna get up in arms about this one. It's Phineas Flynn. From
What?
Phineas and Ferb.
He seems low.
He's titanically low. 40 years.
40 years. He could do that in an
Afternoon, correct. He not only could, he about did a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
Things that come to mind are the No More Summer episode, where the whole planet gets moved and everything gets colder. He's got rockets set up around the world to move it back, and it had like a 50% chance of tearing the planet in half. There was the Great Escape episode where the tower was made evil, and then it surrounded the whole globe and started vacuuming out all of the air. That was just got around by them saying, we've got friends all over the galaxy, and then it covered the entire galaxy. So it could still replicate it. My point is, he could make this happen afternoon, tops.
Yeah.
Another one that I sort of take issue with, Jake the dog. 25 years.
25 years for Jake. So, it's been a while since I've seen Adventure Time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm trying to think back. Because largely I just remember the earlier episodes. All I can think of right now is the episode with the hot dog nights.
Hot dog night, it's a winner.
It is a real winner. I really like those hot dog nights.
They're dumb little goofballs.
Silly little guys.
I
don't know, just knowing what I know about Adventure Time, that does feel low.
I also am having trouble pointing to a specific example. My first thought was also the hot dog guys, because that's an easy way to gain wishes, but he did say only one per customer. And
Right.
Jake did use his to get a sandwich.
Yeah, and then Finn used his for the Psychic Tandem War Elephant, and then the Psychic Tandem War Elephant wished Jake back to life.
Yes, and the rest of the hot dog
That
guys.
is the best end of an episode, like, ever.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to think. There was some, like, world-ending shit, but I'm trying to think if Jake had access to any of it.
Right. The threats in Adventure Time go from, like, it either, like, nuclear war is like is like the big threat.
That's the inciting
but then
incident.
there's
Yes.
there's also like cosmic shit happening.
Yeah.
Too.
The Orgalorg, the Lich, of course.
I mean, I guess Jake is friends with Prismo, so like.
Oh yeah. I completely forgot about Prismo.
Although is Prismo, is he dead?
He was dead, and then he comes back through some time bullshit.
Yeah, there was a lot of time bullshit.
There's a really good line in that episode where Prismo comes back. I'm gonna try and recap it super quick. Prismo's dead. They try and bring him back by doing like a dream seance. Jake ends up in Prismo's dimension, finds the bed where the old man who dreamed up Prismo was killed at, gets into the bed, falls asleep, theoretically forever. Prismo's back. Prismo brings Finn, or Finn gets there by repeating the dream seance, one of the two, I don't remember, and then past Prismo, from before he was killed, stops Finn on his way to Jake, and they do some time fuckery. But it's specifically called out both that Prismo cannot see Finn, he's just talking from the past, and also that he's having a conversation and reacting intentionally to Finn, which seems contradictory. But the line that I love is they're having this conversation, and then Finn says, "What does right now mean to you?" And it's not really answered. It's just the perfect summation of that. Like, what does right now mean for you? Just that it doesn't really make sense for anyone, and we're just going with it.
Yep.
Anyway.
They trapped alternate versions of themselves in a time loop.
Basically. I mean, yeah, that's sort of what happens. The rest of that plan is Finn wakes up Jake, Prismo dies, then they do the cycle again. So Jake's awake, Finn is there, Finn goes to stop previous Finn from waking up Jake, previous Finn explodes, current Finn is fine, previous Jake stays asleep forever, leaving Prismo real, and current Jake remains awake and aware.
Yeah, they really were freestyling.
Yeah!
In the writers' room, huh?
They really said cause and effect does not apply.
Wild.
Anyway, Stitch. 20 fucking years. Stitch
Huh?
of Lilo and Stitch.
I don't know. I feel like Stitch. Let me pull up the.
Let's pull up the feats
pull up
list.
the versus battle wiki.
Yeah, Stitch is one of the most destructive creatures theoretically ever made.
Stitch, 6C.
A month seems long for Stitch, if we're assuming that this is, like, they're trying their absolute best and morals do not come into it. Which is the only way that this list makes any sense, because, like, 90% of these characters just wouldn't.
Right. His power is rated at island level, so.
Interesting.
Pretty substantial in terms of like killing humans. That level of strength is far more.
Yeah, that's enough.
Very sufficient.
That's enough.
Way more than is necessary.
Who do you think is next?
Johnny Bravo.
He actually is on this list, I think.
No shit.
We have not gotten to him yet.
Wow.
No, but this it's fucking Shrek. 18 years.
Really? Shrek, huh? I don't know if he has any like big feats.
I don't know if
like
Shrek
that,
could
you
do
know?
it.
No, I don't.
I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Because like he gets restrained by like guards.
Some people,
a bunch
yeah.
of regular dudes, yeah. No, I don't think Shrek could do
I don't
that.
think-
I think he's Peter Griffin's here.
Yeah, we gotta bump Shrek all the way down to could not do it.
I don't think Shrek could do it.
Puss in Boots could do it.
Probably. He's got.
Oh yeah, here we are, Johnny Bravo.
Johnny
You were
Bravo,
literally
right.
one away. That's crazy that you guessed that and
That
you were
is-
so close.
That is insane.
15 years for Johnny Bravo.
15. He's got like cartoon stuff.
I suppose. If we're allowing for Toon Force, then sort of. But he doesn't really have any of the like offensive Toon Force. He's always the butt of the joke.
Right. He's very durable and he's very fast. Those are the two.
Sure. That's completely fair.
Yeah.
His little text blurb is, if he gets some girls in the end, it's going to be worth it for him.
But he's killing all of them.
I didn't say human girls. I think he does have a run-in with aliens at least once or twice.
That makes sense. I believe that.
10 years. Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Again, afternoon.
Yeah. Well, if Phineas was afternoon, Doofenshmirtz should be whole day.
Fair enough. He usually is like already mid-plan by the time Perry gets there. So.
Right.
So yeah, he's spending all day on his stuff.
Yeah. That's exactly it. 10 years was his assigned amount, by the way.
10 years for Doof. I don't know about that.
This is the next one that's gonna make me like angry. 7 years. Eric Cartman. South Park.
What? Like, yeah, but like, I don't know. Does he do actual magic in the Stick of Truth? Like.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna I'm gonna swing wildly from no to yes. All of the like Stick of Truth and all of that, their superhero stuff is canonically their imagination. So no. But what is canonically real was the time he found and tamed Cthulhu and just started fucking shit up because.
Well then, yeah. Like,
Yeah, the only reason that stopped, honestly, he was going to succeed at this, and the only reason that stopped is because they wanted to do a fake out of Kenny. You know how Kenny dies in every episode?
Yeah.
That's canon. Because his folks went to like an occult meeting when they were pregnant. So every time he dies, he's just born again later that night, and nobody remembers it except for Kenny.
Yes. Horrific.
So the gang, except for Cartman, gets sent to the ancient city of R'lyeh, and then Kenny's like, I have an idea, and fucking impales himself. Wakes up back in South Park, and then tries to stop Cthulhu because only an immortal can kill another immortal is the thing that they're saying.
Interesting.
So basically Cthulhu and Kenny are the only ones that can kill each other. And then during the quote-unquote final battle, a Superman homage shows up and is like, my son, you've awakened to your powers. And the gut punch is that they're not talking to Kenny. They're talking to some other kid called Mintberry Crunch with the powers of a refreshing minty blast and a satisfying crunch of berry. Not really a power, but he beats Cthulhu.
Wow.
So, do with that whatever you will.
Huh.
So yeah, I have to assume that Cartman could in fact do it, even though he seems like a Peter Griffin tier. He'd just find Cthulhu and win, I guess.
Fair enough.
Do with that whatever you will.
Who's next?
Someone I don't actually know. Brock Sampson?
Oh, Venture Brothers.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Venture Brothers animation.
Oh yeah, he's a dude. Like,
I don't know a thing about this one.
he's just the guy. Like,
Peter Griffin tier?
I mean, yeah.
All right, moving on. Mr. Incredible, 3 years.
I don't know. The thing is it Mr. Incredible in our universe or in his?
That's a fantastic question. We've kind of been treating all of these as in their universe, but without anyone opposing them.
If that's the case, I don't know, he just has super strength.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
in a one-on-one, he beats any human, obviously. But, like,
Right.
I don't think he could hold up to a nuke.
No. Like, he doesn't have really insane durability feats.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty low caliber as far as heroes go.
I guess...
I don't know if he could
I
do it.
don't know. I guess the Omnidroid threw him through, like, a building. So there's...
He's
got that, I
certainly more durable than we are.
Right.
But, like...
Yeah, 1v1, any human, I don't know if, like... He's not bulletproof.
I don't think he's bulletproof, even though no one had a gun in that whole movie, I'm realizing.
Correct. I mean, you know, makes sense. But
Does it? Does it make sense that no one had a gun?
It's a kids movie. It's, you know...
No,
gotta,
the cop that got frozen in the building coming down scene had a gun.
That's a massive Frozone feat, by the way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Outspeeding a moving bullet. That's crazy.
And that's like, and he was like in a weakened state at the time too. He had like just one cup of
Yeah,
water to go
he
off
had
of.
barely anything to work with.
That's a crazy Frozone.
Yeah,
feat.
Frozone's nuts. Anyway, 2 years. Michelangelo, Ninja Turtle.
I know Michelangelo has some crazy feats.
I don't really know enough
When
about
it comes
this universe
to-
to have an opinion on this one.
When it comes to The Last Ronin, which is it's like a alternate universe thing where Michelangelo's the last one and he kills people.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's him. Anyway,
Let's fact check this one, but that's fair.
I see. I keep saying The Last Turtle, but it's not telling me the name.
Maybe it's not specified.
Hold on. No, it is Michelangelo.
Okay. And so,
Still, he's just like...
he's just a guy with a sword.
I mean, yeah.
When it comes down to
Yeah,
it,
he's just a guy with a
someone
sword.
will land a shot.
Right. If he just gets shot, like, that's...
I will say, slight tangent, one of the best fight choreographies I've seen in a long time is that newer Ninja Turtles show.
The Seth Rogen one?
Maybe.
Oh, no, that's the movie.
Is that the
Is it
movie?
the
Okay.
show or the movie?
It's a show, I think.
Okay.
Ben... what is his name? Ben Schwartz is the voice of Leo. Just so whoever wants to look it up can find the correct one. And there's a scene... each one of them, their weapons have, like, special powers. Almost Ninjago-esque. But rather than elemental, it's, Leo... we're gonna test if I can name each turtle's weapon here. Leo has 2 swords, and you can teleport from one to the other. No cooldown. Raphael's nunchucks, the chain extends theoretically infinitely. So basically whip fighter plus tying up plus all that. Michelangelo's size make shadow clones. And Donatello's staff basically has like upgrade powers, like Ben 10 upgrade. It just attaches to technology and makes like a hard light projection around it that makes it better. But there's a fight, all of them like each getting a turn. It might be against Shredder and it might be against Krang. I don't remember. But the choreography is killer. I am going to take a moment to remember how to speak. It's phenomenally fluid and just like one and then the next and then the next, and they all get a turn, and it's great. Because they really lean into like different fighting styles based on each of their powers. It's just a really cool scene.
Oh, okay. All right. I think I think it's Rise is what you're talking about.
It might be Rise. It very much might be Rise.
Yeah, it looks like that's what you're talking about, and that does put him in a higher tier than just a dude with a nunchucks.
Yeah.
So he is. Looks like mostly okay. Yeah, he does have some pretty crazy feats. So there's that.
There's that. What?
How long was he?
2 years is what we're up to.
2 years.
That's generous. When it comes down
That's
to
a little generous.
he's still doing melee.
Yeah.
And like meleeing 8 billion people, even if you're Deadpool and you for sure got the stamina for it, that's a lot of people. That'd take a lot of time.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Especially if people catch wind and start hiding from you.
Right.
Alright, we've reached the first one that isn't a Peter Griffin tier that I think is too short of an amount of time. Drastically. Azula. Last Airbender. 1.5 years.
1.5. She's she's pretty crazy.
She's pretty crazy.
It's like,
don't get it wrong. I honestly think she might be able to do it. But like,
I think,
when it comes down to it, she's just a girl with a flamethrower that doesn't run out of ammo.
right.
Granted, it's a very creative and flexible flamethrower, but again, range.
There's lightning too.
There is lightning too, but
She's got lightning.
she's not a planet buster. Is kind of my point. Like, she still has to go around and kill everyone manually.
How long was she given?
1.5 years.
A year and a half.
1.5 years is asking a lot.
Yeah, Like, if it was a year and a half and she also had, like, Fire Nation soldiers with her, then,
Totally.
like, yeah, I could see it
That
happening.
yeah, if she's got an army, then I'd buy it.
But, like, Azula just on her own, I don't think these things would take a while, you know?
Yeah.
And she doesn't, like, all of the, damage and stuff, feats of Avatar are, like, pretty substantial, but speed feats are kept, like, relatively low.
Yeah, they're,
you know?
as far as making things happen quickly, they're pretty human.
Like, I think the biggest speed feats you can get are, like, people dodging lightning bending.
Uh-huh.
That's probably, like, the best.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm gonna get really angry here for a second about Death Battle.
Yeah.
Alucard Helsing versus Dio.
Uh-huh.
They make... God, that one pissed me off. There are 2 death battles that really make me angry. It's that one, and it's Ben 10 versus Green Lantern. But...
Ben 10 wins, right?
He should.
Oh my god, really?
We'll come back to that. But in Dio versus Alucard should absolutely win. Because...
By a landslide.
Yeah. Because he's got 3 million souls in him. Dio would have to kill him 3 million times before Alucard kills Dio once. And the reason that they give the win to Dio is this. Silver Chariot successfully attacks Hanged Man, who moves within light beams from reflection to reflection. Because Silver Chariot hits Hanged Man, Silver Chariot can move FTL. And thus, the world, who is the same as Star Platinum, can also move FTL. Even though, here's my 2 problems with that. 1, Silver Chariot is faster in attack speed than the world is, or than Star Platinum is. That was the whole thing about
Which
the fight.
is established, yeah.
And the bigger issue, even if we're saying that Hanged Man is moving at literal light speed, that doesn't mean that Polnareff, or that Silver Chariot can also move at light speed because he hit him. If he could, there wouldn't have been a fight. The whole thing was he had to get it set up so that it was going specifically from one place to another place in a straight line so he could pre-fire.
Yeah, it was predictable.
Yeah. If he could move fast enough to hit FTL stuff, he would have just fucking hit him the first time.
Man, it's crazy that Alucard lost because I specifically skipped that battle because I wanted Dio to win. I was just like, nah, he's gonna lose, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Alucard's such a landslide obvious victory. They gave it to Dio.
Man, it's crazy.
We'll come back to the Ben 10 one because he is on this list. But up next, 1.2 years, weird number, Gru. Despicable Me.
Really?
I don't know if that holds up.
He's got some gadgets, but I don't think so.
Honestly, I don't think he could do it.
No, I don't think he could do it. Peter Griffin's here.
Yeah, his tech's not really good enough. And here's the other thing, he's not an inventor. Dr. Nefario makes all the gadgets.
Yeah. So Gru on his own, like,
yeah.
Even with the minions.
Oh no, the minions could do it.
The minions could do it, but this is Gru.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. This is Gru. Gru could not do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think this one I just agree with. 1 year, Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, he could certainly do it. In the first movie, he was gonna do it. But also, the whole process was sped up exponentially because the Powerpuff Girls were helping him.
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't provide anything that he couldn't do. They just did it way faster for him. So I think 1 year is fair. 11 months, Bender, Futurama.
Could...
Is he particularly combat efficient? Because I don't think he is.
Let's see. According to the wiki here, he still doesn't. He's just fast. It seems. Well, no, actually, never mind.
Oh boy.
Apparently, he has a power. He has a power up that puts him at like universe level strength. So yes.
Oh yeah, he did meet God that one time, didn't he?
Yeah. Apparently, he gets a power level boost that lets him be at universe level in striking strength. So.
Huh. All right.
So 1 second.
Yeah,
is,
I suppose if that's correct, then yeah, 1 second. Fire Lord Ozai.
Just go back to our discussion with.
Yes.
Azula.
See also Azula. Perhaps a little bit more proficient, but not enough to make the difference. Peter Griffin
His
here.
biggest feats were during Sozin's comment, so it's not like we got a good grip of his strength anyway.
Fair enough. This is the first one. Well, maybe not the first one if Bender is super small. But, yeah. Popeye, the Sailor Man, 6 months.
Instantaneous.
Yeah.
Instantaneous.
However long it takes to eat a can of spinach.
Uh-huh.
Often 2 to 3 seconds. Moving on. We've got another similar wicked fast one. Uncle Grandpa.
Yeah, I could see that.
He can just pick up the whole world and shake it. He's a reality bender times a million.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck this guy got this high up. Samurai Jack?
What?
Like, he's a great fighter.
Right.
But everyone? They don't have guns
That's a
in
lot
his
of
show,
people.
do they?
I think they do.
Do they?
But
I guess they did send him into the future. Like, yeah, he killed a coup, but that was his whole life, was killing a coup.
mm-hmm.
Anyway. I don't know a ton about Samurai Jack. That's the reason that we're kind of glancing past this one. Number 3, Megatron, Transformers.
Instant? I guess it depends on which Megatron.
This seems to be from the, like, 90s cartoon.
90s cartoon Megatron. Okay.
I don't know a ton about it. Why do you say instant?
Because once you get into, like, the deep Transformers lore, Megatron has been God, like, several times.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, you just... There's also, like... There's, like, all of the Decepticons merge into, like, one big Decepticon.
The Ultracepticon,
like,
or whatever.
It's called something stupid. I don't...
Honestly,
I
it might
do
be
not
called the
know.
Ultracepticon.
Could
I'd
be.
believe that. I don't... Yeah.
Man, his wiki page is wild.
Oh my god, there's just a ton going on over there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's like, he could withstand Thunderwing's shockwaves, and his insides were turned into portals from another dimension during the dark Cybertron arc. It's
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Deceptigod. That's what it.
Decepticon! I was close.
You were close.
I was close. That's great. No, Decepticon is awesome.
This thing looks fucking crazy.
Oh boy. I think this one's gonna make us both really angry. 1 month. Steven Universe.
Really?
Like,
No.
what's he gonna do?
Like, literally, what is he going to do?
I suppose there is an argument for him convincing the cluster. Oh my god. Is that Decepticon?
That's Deceptigod.
That's insane. I'm gonna
Yeah,
viewers at home, if you're actually watching, I'll throw up an image. If not, it's this crazy, like, almost praying mantis head on. It's a lot. You should look it up. It's crazy. But yeah, Steven Universe does not really have any destructive capabilities. Even if we're counting Steven Universe Future and he goes into that big, like, dragon thing, I mean, I don't think that thing could have taken a nuke.
If we, like, power scale him up to, like, he can do everything the diamonds can do, because technically he is one, then, like, still, you know.
I don't think the diamonds would beat... I don't think any one diamond... Honestly, if we let that not be a children's show, I don't think the diamonds would win altogether.
Yeah.
I think the only thing keeping the humans from beating the gems is that they refuse to fight back because the show has decided that the gems are stronger, and the humans can't get off world.
Yeah.
I think if we just gave the humans enough ships to get off world and left everything else exactly the same, the diamonds would lose.
Mm-hmm. All right, who's next?
Elsa, Frozen, 18 days.
Are they, like... If you upscale the fact that she plunged her country into eternal winter, and you just say, like, well, she does that, but to the whole world.
I think
then
that's what
maybe.
they're referencing, yeah. But also, that was solved by a guy with a sword.
True. She's very vulnerable.
Yeah. I guess they might be leaning into it's not confirmed whether or not that would have kept going if she died.
Fair enough.
Which, in that case, I guess... But even so, that movie's like 3 days long. And people weren't, like, dropping dead from the cold. Like, that...
I mean, except for her sister.
Well, that was
But,
kind of
you
different.
know, that's a
But yeah, if
special
we're
case.
talking about that, then she has to specifically blast each individual person.
Which takes us back to Azula.
Right. That blast took at least 3 seconds for her to do. even if it wasn't on purpose. 3 seconds times 8 billion.
Yeah.
That's more than a human lifespan.
Who's up next?
Sonic the Hedgehog. 15 days.
They're lowballing him.
Sonic is like outerversal.
Unless he like stops for a snack.
Yeah, if he stops for 15 days for chili dogs, that's fair. Yeah, no, Sonic could do it like that. Especially if we're talking about all of the canon Sonic, because Archie Sonic moves faster than the concept of speed. That is a direct quote.
Just like in every country, just as like a break from his massacre, he just stops and gets some like local cuisine.
Yeah, whatever the local version
Like
of a
the-
chili dog is.
Yeah. El Chili Dog.
Totally. Alright. Jack Parr. 13 days.
He's still just a baby.
Making a lot of assumptions about when he's
Yeah.
older. Especially since I've seen a lot of people make the claim that he's not gonna keep all of his powers.
There's not really precedent for that.
There's not, but the thought behind that is all of the Parr's different powers are like metaphors for their role in a family. The dad is strong, the mom is flexible, the young son is hyperactive, the old daughter is shy, and the baby is unpredictable.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we're getting Incredibles 3, so I don't think we'll ever know.
I bet we are, and I bet it's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Who's next?
Yeah, I don't think Jack could do it. Peter Griffin-Tier. Danny Phantom. 12 days.
He could do some ghost shit.
I don't know if Danny Phantom would die. Like, I mean, specifically of old age.
Right.
And if that is true, then yes. Intangibility plus Banshee Whale, whatever his scream
Yeah.
ability is. I think he'd get there. It'd take him, like, years and
Yeah,
years.
it's a logistics issue,
Yeah.
you know? Like, if he stops off in Europe, you know, how long is it going to take him to go through each individual country?
Certainly not a number of hours.
No.
Especially because doesn't he, like, canonically get tired of doing that? Like, to a point where he can't really replicate after, like, 3? So I seem to remember he gets tired easily, specifically of his big AoE damage attack. I think he could do it.
Yeah.
I don't think he could do it nearly that fast. Couple of decades. Marceline,
Yeah, apparently.
the vampire
All right,
queen.
how long?
Do what now?
How long?
Right, sorry, 8 days.
8 days. They're highballing it, I think.
They are giving her a lot of credit. Granted, there was that one episode where she was king of the Nightosphere. And when that same level of power, king of the Nightosphere, came to the world through Hudson Abadir, shit got crazy for a little while. Like, in an evening, he ripped
Fair.
apart a good chunk of ooh.
Fair.
Granted, he put it all back when they cut his soul sack open. Don't love that phrasing, but I don't know if we'd be good enough to cut open the soul sack. Anyway,
Yeah.
Maleficent. 6 days.
What? Why?
I'm not totally sure. Dragon?
Yeah, but she's still just a dragon.
Just a right, like we beat her with a sword.
Yeah,
A guy with a sword
you know?
and a pretty durable shield beat her.
Yeah. Like, no, just a flat out no.
Yeah.
Like she can do it, but it's gonna take a very long time.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if she could do it. I think we'd win.
Yeah, people fighting back. Yeah, then yeah, like she's not gonna stand up to like a tank.
Yeah, no, I think the nuclear deterrent is a factor here. Up next is one Stuart Griffin. 5 days.
I, why?
I don't know. I don't know why. If we're pushing this to the absolute extreme, he does have a time machine.
So, kill back in time, kill back in time, kill back in time. So it happens instantaneously, technically.
Technically, the other technicality is he is in one of the episodes where they were fucking around with time. They got shot outside of the space-time continuum, specifically him and Brian. They overloaded the return pad, and that was the Big Bang. So, technically, if he goes back in time and kills any one of his ancestors, he would die, but he'd take the whole universe with him. And that's canon, because they did that in one episode. His, little enemy Bertram went back in time, killed Leonardo da Vinci, and then...
Alright, I guess.
And then the universe didn't end because they were back in time, and apparently Stewie Griffin took Leonardo da Vinci's place, sired a son, kept the timeline intact, and then put himself in cryosleep for 500 years. So that the status quo could remain exactly the same. Lucky he's a family guy. Aang, 3 days.
Times you look directly into the camera and you're like, what the
fuck? Sometimes you just gotta do the gym. Anyway, Aang. Aang, 3 days. No.
Just an avatar state, still not happening.
Not even close to 3 days. Again, I don't think he could do it at all. Even in the avatar state. I don't think he beats a tank.
If people were fighting back, I mean, yeah.
Ugh. Starfire, 2 days.
I'm not caught up on the Starfire.
I'm not amazingly caught up either. Honestly, knowing how DC works, that's probably true.
Yeah, let's...
There was probably some point where she had control of Brainiac, or...
She was like god power or whatever.
Ultra powered up, or had the chair of super whatever that Batman usually has.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'd buy it.
Post-crisis.
Yeah. Same answer for Raven, 22 hours.
She's... Okay, apparently she's, like, planet level.
There you go.
So, she could probably handle it pretty fast.
Same answer for Raven, 22 hours. That's fair.
Yeah, they're probably comparable.
The Lich, Adventure Time, 20 hours.
Really? I mean...
I think this one depends on if his Well of Power exists in the universe he's fighting in.
Yeah.
I think him with the Well of Power, that's a reasonable timeline. Without it, we're back to like... we're back to like Danny Phantom.
That fast?
He could do it, but he has to go and get everyone.
Right.
That being said, he did technically succeed at this once.
Correct.
He went to Prismo and wished for the extinction of all life, and it technically happened.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're counting that, that took him like 3 hours?
Yeah. Max.
Mm-hmm. Granted, we didn't see how long it took him to take possession of, or the body of Billy, so honestly, 20 hours is probably fair.
Yeah.
15 hours, Doodle Bob.
Does he have the pencil?
I have to assume so. Yeah, he could just erase us all with his magic pencil. So we're assuming, yes, he has the pencil.
Yeah, the thing is, so he'd need to get, like, he'd need to draw himself a spaceship. Then he flies into space, right? And then, from his perspective, the Earth looks, like, pretty small, and then he just, like, holds up the pencil and erases it, you know?
Yeah,
So
15
there's no
hours
need for him to erase each of us individually.
Yeah.
He can just, like...
15 hours to fly far enough away for that perspective to work. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this one's obnoxious. 10 hours. Jafar.
What?
I don't know.
If it's counting, like, Jafar with, like, genie powers, then I guess. But, like, even then, you know, he's not free.
You're right.
So,
He can't do that.
So
He doesn't get to make
again,
that
the
decision.
answer is, I guess, like, he wished, like, well, no, he was going to wish to be the most powerful guy, but then Aladdin was like, yo, you're not going to be the most powerful guy because you're going to be second most powerful because Genie will be most powerful. And he's like, oh, you're right, Aladdin. I wish to become a genie. And then he just gets locked up.
That's true. But before that, he did successfully wish to be, I think, the ultimate sorcerer.
True.
But even so, he was doing magic, and that was like... I'm...
Like, it was mostly just parlor tricks. He was, like, blowing up a building.
He turned into
you
a big
know?
snake. Like,
Uh-huh.
cool. You're not bulletproof, guy.
Yeah.
And even if he is bulletproof, that's like... takes a while to get through a city level of magic. Not eradicate the planet in 10 hours level of magic.
Yeah.
6 hours. Evil Morty.
I just go back to our earlier discussion of Morty. It's
Yeah.
like evil Morty with like it's just our discussion of Morty, but imagine he has like a evil twirly mustache.
4 hours. Twilight Sparkle.
I know nothing about.
Yeah, I don't have enough knowledge to weigh in on this. Honestly, that might be true. I think they get like stupid powerful in later seasons.
Yeah, she's ranked above Goku.
Oh my god.
So.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. The 4 hours are for the songs she'd be singing about friendship along the way.
Right.
This one is just canonically wrong. 3 hours. Rick Sanchez.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
We watched
Again,
him set up a
waste.
planetary annihilator or whatever it was called in like 4 seconds.
Does he
Nuclear
stop for
resonator, that's what it's
snacks?
called. Yeah. If we're doing what we've done for everyone else and assuming he's putting his all into this, couple of seconds tops.
Yeah. Yeah. C'est la vie. It's
45 minutes. Hercules. Specifically Disney's Hercules.
really.
No.
I'd gotta say no. Yeah.
He is technically immortal, so he'd do it.
Mm-hmm. It would not take him 45 minutes though.
Take a
That's
lot longer than
way
that.
too short. Yeah.
He's like city level of picking shit up. Not enough to make a sizable dent in the world without spending a long time on it.
Right.
20 minutes. Skeletor.
You know that the one time we redid a play and then like looked directly in the camera and said that's not funny.
I do.
That's how I'm feeling.
8 minutes. He-Man.
I repeat myself.
He-Man is a guy with a sword.
Yep.
Is there more? There must be more.
The power of Grayskull.
Two minutes. Omni-Man.
He's just Superman, sure, I guess.
He's not, though. He's not. We saw him take a planet apart. He came back with a full beard.
So it'd take him longer.
Yeah,
I guess
he could do it. He could certainly do it.
Yeah.
But not in 2 minutes. This one, remarkably shorter. Or rather, it's... What they're saying is too long. Pops. Regular show.